Hello, everybody. Just a question. Do we have anyone who was not here last week? Could you please raise your hand? 3 of you. Worksheet. Sorry, those who are late. I've got the worksheets on the first table. Could you please take them? The worksheet. It works now. So if you're late, please make sure you take the worksheet from the first table, the first row. And then could you please also raise your hands if you're absent last week? I'm going to give you the worksheets from the last week. Anyone else? One? Who was missing last week? Sorry, there are quite a lot of you. That's for you. If you're missing last week, could you please take it from there? Okay, ready. So today we mostly do Ukrainian language and just one little part of Ukrainian history, I believe. But if actually you were missing last time, I feel like you've got to do some work since that's going to be your final. For your final exam, you've got to do almost the same as you did for your midterm. So you've got to write your own story about your day. And then I haven't decided yet, but you either gonna tell that story for everyone on your exam day, or you will record. But the main task will be to describe your day. So you get to write a story and to prepare a story about your day. Like, I wake up at 7, I go to the university, then I work, this kind of stuff. So that's gonna be your final task. And the class last time and the class this week is gonna be a big chunk of preparation for that one. So if you were missing last week, once again, please make sure you take that paper because there are some useful expressions over there. And maybe we can do them together, just this part, because it's something we've done last week. So those who attended last week, you can help us. And you guys, if you didn't attend, please write down the numbers so you have it in front of you. All right, so if you attended this class last week, please help me. What's number 1? Okay, ready? We'll start from here. What is that one? So it's going to be to work. And guys, if you were last week, you got all the answers. You just have to read that. So what's number 1? Practicate. That's good. So that's the one here. It's to work. If it's your first class and you were missing last time, just make sure you write down number 1. And everyone, let's say practicate. Okay, let's do number 2. It's going to be to wake up or to get up. How do you say that? Thank you. Okay, everyone, let's say wstawaj. Okay, then we've got the third one. The third one is going to be to take a shower. How do you say that? Oh, let's get it again. Everyone, let's say prиймати душ. Yeah, which is like to take a shower. Just here. Let's move to have breakfast. How do you say have breakfast in Ukrainian? Okay, and everyone, let's say снідати. Then we got number 5, which is to have lunch. Thank you. That's good. So let's see. Обідати. Then we've got sheet, and sheet is to have dinner. How do you say to have dinner? Thank you. Okay, everyone, let's see. Вечеряти. And it comes from добрий вечір, so it's going to help you a bit. Then we've got number 7. Number 7 is to take rest. How do you say to take rest in Ukrainian? That's good. Sure. Let's say відпочивати. And then number 8, everyone knows. Yeah, good job. Thank you. Let's say грати в теніс. And this is the longest. So number 9 is to learn Ukrainian language. Let's say the whole stuff together. Вивчати українську мову. So in Ukrainian language is українська мова, but since we have this rule subject plus verb plus object, and then if it's accusative, the object needs to change to u. Remember, just like я люблю рибу, я люблю каву. That's why we change it here. So to learn Ukrainian language, it becomes an object. That's why it changes to u. Alright, so you get these expressions, you can use them for your final. You don't need to use all of them, but when you describe the day, you can make some sentences like, at 7 I wake up, or at 8 I learn, I don't know, at 12 I have lunch. So it doesn't need to be too complicated, but you have to write the story and be able to read that. And I feel like it should be alright. not too complicated since we still have some time to get ready. Alright, so sorry, if it's your, if you missed the class, we've got to miss this part, so maybe you've got to check it by yourself a bit. But today I made sure we do all the reviews, so you guys are going to be fine. Right now, please take the paper that was for this class, not the last class. I'm going to show you which one. So the one here. And we've got to review or learn how to make sentences again. So let's take a look. That's the worksheet that all of you have right now, and today is quite a lot of grammar. So once again, in Ukrainian we have two groups of verbs, and they are very easy to determine. You just have to look at the last three letters of the verb. If those three letters are ate or yate, it's the first group, or группа один. If the verbs end with ite or ute, it's the second group. So after that, all you have to do, you've got to remember the endings of the verbs for each pronoun. And then you are good to make any sentence you want. So if it's going to be your story for the finals, it's even easier because you just have to work with I and something. So it's quite easy. You just have to remember that the verbs will end with you. And you're really good to go. I would just add some color so it's more visible. And let's take a look. So over here you've got group 1, and then you've got some examples of the verbs that belong to group 1. Let's read that. So what's the first verb that you see, guys? Yeah, that's good. Everyone, let's say again. Читати. And then, do you guys remember what it means? So читати means to read. Thank you. That's right. Okay. If you don't remember, please make some notes. So the first one is read. Then you've got the second one, which is over here. Stop. Good job. And let's say again, stavate. So that's your new word for today, which means to wake up or to get up. And then the next word, let's take a look. It's going to be good. Let's say again, снідати, which means that one's going to be to have a breakfast. And the last one is going to be over here, which is good. Once again, obídate. And if you want to make some notes for yourself, it's going to be to have lunch. So you know that all of these words belong to group 1 because in infinitive form, they all gonna end up with ate or yate. So that's how you know that all these words are gonna have the next following endings. And step number 1. So if you want to make sentences like I read, you read, he, she reads, we read, you read, and they read, number 1, you've got to remove the. And then I believe it's going to be quite easy because you just add the same endings over and over again. So once you get familiar with them, it shouldn't be too complicated. And guys, since it's actually something we've done last time, I believe you can do that. And I will ask you to read one by one, okay? So we're going to do like I read, you read, and so on. So maybe we'll start with me. Okay, let's go. Now we work with the word read, and you get to say I read. How do you say it in Ukrainian? That's good. Could you just pass it to the next person, please? And let's just do it fast, okay? So, how would you say you read? Good job. Let's keep going. He, she reads. Nice. Good job. Ви читаєте? Good job. І вони?
Yeah.
You. Читають. Good, okay. So the next thing you've got ставати. And let's keep it for now because ставати needs some explanation. So we skip it, okay? Let's move to the word снідати. So you get to say you have breakfast. Oh, it's not that bad. Look, so you get the word you just here. How do you say you in Ukrainian? Good job. And look, you've got the word снідати. It's infinitive, and you've got the answer already. We've got to add yesh. So how would you say you have breakfast? Sorry, I don't know. Good, okay, sure. It's like ты снідаєш. Sure, sorry. Could you say just one more time? Ты снідаєш. Good, so you just need this ending. And you're going to say you have breakfast. Okay, good. Let's move to the next one. It's going to be he, she. The next person, please. Yeah, that's very good. And then you get to say, we have breakfast. And all you have to do, you just have to read the table. So you say we, and then you say have breakfast. So how do you say we? Мы. Okay, and then you get to say have breakfast. Снідаємо. Nice. Let's say again. Ми снідаємо. Alright, the next person, please. Oh, снідаєте. Nice. And the last thing. Good job. Perfect. Okay, I just figured that it might be harder if it's your first class, so let's do this one together instead of reading, okay? So, just once again, if you have a verb in front of you, in this case, the verb is to have lunch. In Ukrainian, it's going to be обідати. So, you know it's group 1, since it ends with ate. If it's group 1, all you have to do, you have to remove ty, and then you get to look at these endings that I marked in red. They're always the same endings. And once you have them, you can make sentences like I have lunch, you have lunch, he, she has lunch, and so on. So let's do it together now. If you want to say I have lunch, how would you say that? Yeah? Okay, that's good. Well, let's say again. Я обідаю. Then for ty, you've got ending yesh. So how would you say you have lunch? Yeah, that's good again. Ty обідаєш. And then you've got he, she. For he, she, the ending is going to be yeah all the time. So how would you say he, she has lunch? Good job. Він, вона обідає. And then you got we. How do you say we in Ukrainian? Мы. And for мы, the ending is always їмо. So how would you say we have lunch? Good job. Ми обідаємо. That's perfect. And then we get you plural. So you is gonna be v, and the ending is always yete. So how do you say you have lunch? Like plural. Thank you so much. That's correct. Ви обідаєте. And the last one is they in Ukrainian is вони. So, and the ending is gonna be you. So how would you say they have lunch? Okay, вони обідають. So that's something we learned last time. So it was a review for you if you attended the class. We skipped one of them because actually it's an exception. There is something. Every single time you look at the verb and it ends with vati, not just ati, you have to keep, you have to remove vati instead of ti. So you get to remove more letters in this case. So let's take a look. Over here you have an example. Працювати. And it ends with vati. So instead of just removing ti, you get to remove the whole thing over here. You get to remove 4 letters, not just 2 of them. So let's just go here. You've got the word працювати. How would you say I work? Я працюю. That's good. How do you say you work? Ти працюєш. Він, вона працює. That's good. And then ми працюємо. And then you've got ви працюєте. That's good. And вони працюють. And sorry, can you just cross it out? It's a bit inappropriate. It doesn't follow this rule. And there is just one exception. So if you see the word відпочивати, it's going to be an exception. So in this case, you've got to remove the again. But it's an exception. It's the only word that ends with vate, and you got to keep the va part. So just like here, it's an exception. It's a special case. So over here, we just removed it again. And let's take a look. So how do you say I have a red? Я відпочиваю. That's good. Ти відпочиваєш. Він, вона відпочиває. And then ми відпочиваємо. І ви відпочиваєте. Nice. And вони відпочивають. Alright. And then last week, we also talked about group 2. So those verbs end with ite and ute. Verbs like говорити or любити. So in this case, you've got to remove ute and ite. And then you've got these endings that you kind of have to remember or understand. And they're slightly different from group 1, so the endings are slightly different. Let's just go through говорити. What it means to speak, and that's the endings that group number 2 is going to take. So you've got говорю, and then ти говориш, він, вона говорить, ми говоримо, ви говорите, і вони говорять. So you just have to think which group it belongs to, if it's group 1 or group 2. So that's something we talked about last time, and without further ado, let's just try to make the exercise by ourselves. So over here, you've got the sentence, and you've got the verbs over here. So you get to make a sentence like I get up, do you have breakfast at home, and so on. Alright, so let's do it one by one. And who has a microphone, please? Who's the next person with the microphone? You. Okay, so you got this verb over here. What's the verb? it's group 1 or group 2? Wait, you're not finished yet. It's your sentence. Is it group 1 or group 2? That's correct, because it ends with update. And look, you can make a sentence, I get up at 7. But please be careful, because this word ends with vate. And when your word ends with vate, you get to remove the whole ending, you see? So that's what you do. You get to remove vate, and then you get to say, I get up. How would you say that? What's that again? Ooh, stavate is to do something. So it's like to get up. So step number 1, you get to remove the whole thing. You get to remove vate, because when the verb ends with vate, we remove vate. And then for I, the ending is you. So you get sta, and you get you. So how do you say I wake up? That's good, sure. So everyone, please write it down. Number 1 is going to be я встаю. Alright, number 1 is я встаю. And then, how would you say it at 7? Okay, I will say it. Alright, the next person, you've got the word snidate. Is it group 1 or group 2? That's correct. So you get to remove the and you get to add the ending that you need. I would just say, do you have lunch? Do you have breakfast at home? Look, you just have to look at this table. So this table is group 1, and this is your ending for you. So you have to remove the, and then you get the ending yash. Say again, please. The, that's good.
I'll just make it bigger for everyone. If it's group 1, you get я, ты, він, вона, ми, вони, і ви. I changed it. So if it's group 1, you get to remove the. That's step 1. And then that's the ending. So if it's я, the ending is you. For ты, the ending is єш. For він, вона, the ending is є. Ми, його.
That's the endings. So over here you got the word snidate. You get to remove the, and you need the ending for the one here, which is yesh. That's good. Alright. Could you say the whole sentence again? So it's gonna be, do you have breakfast at home?
スニーテーシ Дома.
Very good. Everyone, could you please say with me? Ты снедаешь дома? Okay. The next thing is going to be he reads a book. How would you say that?
Je pratique.
But you get to change that. So читать is
Pratique.
good. Thank you. And everyone, let's say that one too. It's going to be він читає книгу. Yeah, once again, please. Він читає книгу. Thank you. The next is going to be we. All the same. You've got to remove ты and you've got to make a sentence. We have lunch in a coffee shop.
Ми обідаємо.
Oh, sorry. That one's good. And the last part? Nice. Thank you. That's very good. Everyone, let's say ми обідаємо в кафе. Alright. The next is the question, but it's formed exactly like a statement, just with the question mark at the end. And here you've got to say, do you guys walk in the park? How would you say that? That's beautiful, thank you. So you've got the ending yet. And everyone, let's say that. Ви гуляєте в парку? So for вы, the ending is yeta. That's how you've got it. And it's always the same endings for group one. So number 6. You get to say they listen to music. Huh? And the ending is youth. Słuchaj. That's correct. You've got to remove the and you just need to add the end youth. It's always the same. So let's say вони слухають музику. You know, which is like they listen to music. And then you get the word вечеряти, which is to have dinner. So how would you say she has dinner at Sada? What time does she have dinner? Sim. Good job. That's very good. And everyone, let's say, вона вечеряє всім. Okay. And the next thing is going to be, I learned Ukrainian language. So the word is вивчати. You've got to remove the and you have to say I learned.
Я вивчаю.
super, very good, thank you. And everyone would say, я вивчаю українську мову. Which is like, I learn Ukrainian language. And the ending is perfect, thank you. And the next is going to be працювати. But please remember, it's a bit special because it ends with vati. So you get to remove 4 letters, not just 2. So how would you say, do you work in the company? Do you work in the firm? And let's say it together. Ти працюєш у фірмі? And you could also say в фірмі. It's all the same. It doesn't matter. So в means in or at the company, in the company. But it's up to you. You can say в or you can say у. So you can see one of those. And now let's move to number 10. And відпочивати is an exception. So we keep vati in this case. How would you say they take a rest? Correct. So in this case, you need the ending va. That's why we just add yud. You're correct. And everyone, let's say this part first. Вони відпочивають. And this part says after work. It's 2 new words, so a bit harder. Let's say together. Після роботи. So it means after work. Okay, let's go to number 11. In here we get to say we play tennis. Yep, very good, thank you. And everyone, let's say ми граємо в теніс. Okay. And the next one is to cook lunch. To cook breakfast. So the word to cook, you have it before готувати. It ends with vati. That's why I guess you remember what to do. Oh, sorry, it's vin, right? Vin? Could you say it? Sorry, I just didn't hear. Yeah, good job. And everyone, let's say, він готує сніданок. So the next is читати, which means to read a journal. You get to add. So you get to remove the, and you need this ending over here. Journal, which is a journal. Thank you. And everyone, let's say, вона читає журнал. And любити is a bit different. So it's gonna be, the second group. And любити has to remove it, but I underlined that. And you kind of know already, we need 1 extra letter. This is kind of an exception too, but you've had it before, so I hope you remember. How would you say they like to watch movies? Good job, thank you. And everyone, let's say, вони люблять фільми. Фільми. So the word ends with rute. That's how you know it's group 1, group 2. But in this case, you get an extra letter L. You just have to remember. It showed up for no reason pretty much, because normally it just follows this normal pattern of adding the endings. Okay, that was it. But what I want to do with you now, since for your final, you don't really need all the endings, you get to only talk about yourself. So could we just make easy sentences now, like I have lunch, I work, I play tennis. Okay, let's practice that, because later on you will write a story like that. You will say like, I get up at 7, I play tennis at 10, and so on. So let's go. Number 1 is here, number 1 is obídate. So if you want to say I have lunch, how would you say that? So you have the word obídate. We have to remove thing, and the ending for I is always the same if it's group 1. So how would you say I have lunch? Yeah, that's good. Let's say я обедаю. And if you want to say at a certain time, you just have to say v. So v means at, and then for example v 12, which means at 12. And so on, but we're going to talk about this one later. Let's do the second one. So number 2 is працювати. Працювати is a bit special, it ends with вати, that's why we remove the whole thing, right? So how do you say I work? Yeah, that's good. We need this you again. So let's say я працюю. Then you get грати в теніс. So you only have to work with the word грати. So step 1, we remove the and we have to add you. So how do you say I play? Я граю. That's good. And let's say я граю в теніс. So the next one is going to be I take a shower. So the word is приймати, all the same. We just have to remove thing. So how would you say I take a shower? Good, thank you. And let's say я приймаю душ. Alright, the next one is going to be відпочивати. And we have to remember that відпочивати is an exception. So even though it ends with vati, we do not remove the whole thing, we just remove the ending, just like a normal verb. So how do you say I take a rest? Відпочивати. That's good. And let's say я відпочиваю. And the next is going to be to have dinner. Maybe I feel like the next person can do that. Who has a microphone? Yeah. Could you please pass it? Thank you. So your word is going to be вечеряти. How would you say I have dinner? Oh, look, it's always the same. If it's group 1, you just have to remove the, and the ending for I is always you. So you remove the, and then you just have to add you. And that's your sentence, which is I have dinner.
Я вичисляю.
You.
Я вичисляю.
Yeah, good. Can you try one more, please? So, let's do снідати. Снідати is to have breakfast. So you have to do exactly the same. You have to remove the and you have to add you. So how would you say I have breakfast?
Snake.
Good job. That's correct. Thank you. And let's do one more. It's going to be for the next person. Thank you. It's going to be I learned. How do you say I learned? That's good. Okay, yellow chat. That's correct. Okay, so actually today it's going to be your practice time, so you have to write your own story at the end of this class. You have one more example. So we read an example in the beginning of the last class, and right now, please take the worksheet from the last class because we still have exercise 4B. Over here you have a girl whose name is Marina, and she's a student from Ukraine, and you have her example of her day, which you can use for your final. So pretty much, you just have to write a similar story about your day, and you have to be able to read your story, and that's going to be your final. So please just pay attention to this little story. It's going to be very helpful for you. I believe the final shouldn't be a problem as long as you just can make sentences like she did. I believe it's almost time to have a break time. Yes, it's 5. So we will continue after the break in 10 minutes. So see you soon. Alright, so I decided to read the same exercise we did last time. So in the beginning of the worksheet last time, we had this tiny story that is actually a very good example for your final exam. So you can pretty much take this as an example, but to write down about your day, and you're good to go. So your final doesn't need to be very long. It's enough to have maybe like 7 sentences. It's good enough for me. You just have to describe what you do during one day. And since it's something we have done already, I hope you guys can read that. At least try to read, okay? Sorry, who has a microphone? Alright, so let's do it this way. First, you guys read, and then everyone repeats after you, okay? So if it's your first class, and it's the first time you see that, I'm gonna translate it as well, so you might want to make some notes. But first, let's read, please.
Я ставлю 7 из медали.
That's good. So if it's your first class, please make some notes. It means I wake up at 7 and I have breakfast. And now let's say again, everyone, please. Я встаю в 7 и снідаю.
Ставлю 7 из медали.
Okay, let's read the second sentence. So let's go. М и ех. Good job. You tell me, so it's S, N, and then
Сни. Снял.
Da. Oh, this is da, and then you have
Снидал.
good job. Me сніданок, and then
Кава. И
yogurt.
йогурт.
Good job. Okay, that's actually good. Everyone, let's say it's gonna be my breakfast is coffee and yogurt. So let's say мій сніданок,
Сніданок.
кава і yogurt.
Кава. И йогурт.
So for your final exam, you just can add, for example, what you have for breakfast instead of coffee and yogurt. It can be something else. Okay, so at 8 o'clock, she's at work. The next person, please. Let's read that. Вісім. Good job. That's good. Everyone, let's say в 8 я на роботі. Okay. Which means at 8 I'm at work. Yeah. Good job, very good. So it means I work in the company Samsung. Let's say again, я працюю у фірмі Samsung. And then we have two numbers that we might need for a clock. So the one we haven't learned that is the not set, which means 11. And then we might want to have 12 as well. And 12 is just 2, and then you add not set. So two numbers that you might want to have is 11 and 12. And let's say, the not set. 12. So we talked about that last time, but just for those who are missing. And over here you have, at 12, I have lunch in the coffee shop. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna help you. So at 12, в 12. Good job. Sure. Everyone, let's say в 12 я обедаю в кафе. Alright. Then you get to say, at 5 I learned Ukrainian language. Look, the word itself is вивчати українську мову. Could you say вивчаю українську мову? Okay. So everyone, let's say 5. Я вивчаю українську мову. Okay, and then at 7 I have dinner and I have a rest. That's very good. So let's say 7 я вечеряю і відпочиваю. Okay, so you can keep it very simple. You don't need to add too many extra words, especially if it's your first semester. You just can go like, hi, my name is Marina and I'm a student. And then you could say, this is my day, say anything. And then for your final, you can go like, I wake up at 7. I have breakfast. My breakfast is coffee, for example. And then at 8, I am in Tamkan. At 12, I have lunch. All you have to do, you have to write the story and be able to read the story. So that's going to be your final. And you can keep it simple. You don't have to go crazy with some expressions, just as long as you understand what your text says. Okay, and just as an example, we will use the story of Marina. And Marina is at the end, at the bottom of your worksheet. So her story is a bit more complicated. She added some extra words. You can skip them for your final. Just, you can keep it simple. But for now, you get to take a look at the picture and you have to make the correct form of the verb. All you have to do pretty much is to add you at the end of every verb because she's talking about herself. But let's read that. So now we get to read the heading of the story. This next person, please. Great. So since it's a little bit easy, and you are from the Russian department, let's read the whole part, okay? It's going to be for you. Alright, you get to say like, hi, my name is Marina, I'm a student from Ukraine, and this is my day.
Привет. Меня звати Марина. Я студентка України. Це мій день.
Good, thank you. Okay, so you can use this as a beginning of your story for your final. So you just have to say like, hi, my name is, I'm a student. If you know how to say it from the title, you can add that. And then you can also say, and this is my day. And for now, let's just read that together. Okay, let's go. Let's say, Привіт. Мене звати Маріна. Я студентка з України. А це мій день. Okay, thank you. It was great. Let's move to the next person. And it gets a bit harder because you get to these two actions are. What's number one?
Я доставлю
Okay. Oh, sorry, it's not because that's the picture, and the picture is to take a shower. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna write it down here. Please make sure you write it down as well. So number one is встаю, right? And let's say я встаю в 7. And then та приймаю душ. So and take a shower. Приймаю. Okay, the next person. Maybe we can start with this picture first. How would you say to have breakfast?
Я встаю в 7:15.
Oh, sorry. Do you read the sentence now? The third one? Oh, because here you get to say, I have breakfast at home. How would you say that? Oh, hold on. It's good. Always. Yeah, perfect. So to do something word is nidatate, but you have to remove the and it's going to be you on the top. So you're correct. Once again, я снідаю. And she has breakfast at home. So we can also say я снідаю вдома. And then she talks about her breakfast, and maybe the next person can read. So the sentence is, my breakfast is yogurt and black coffee.
The whole one or
Oh, just the next sentence. Sentence number zero.
listen, yeah,
Oh, sorry, the one before, which goes like, my breakfast is yogurt.
сніданок, йогурт і
Bridget? Perfect. Okay, everyone, let's say, мій сніданок, йогурт і чорна кава. Alright, the next sentence is something you can use in your story too. It's at 8, I'm at university. Good, okay, let's say, в 8 я в університеті. Or to make it easier, you can just skip and just say "Я в Тамкан." That's the name of your university. So you can say that one too for your future story. Just like "Вісім я в Тамкан," which is 8 I'm in Taмкан. Okay, the next is going to be I'm a student and I learn Ukrainian language in Taмкан.
Я студент. Betrayal. Ukrainian
That's very good. And sorry, I didn't write it down. So number 3 is going to be снідаю. And number 4 is going to be вивчаю. Okay, let's say it again. Я студентка. Та вивчаю українську мову в Тамкан. Okay, so the next sentence is quite hard, I would say. So maybe someone from the second semester. Do you feel confident? No? Someone else. Let's do this part. So it goes like, I'm a good student. That's very good. And then she says, I always listen the lectures. How would you say that? Good. Good. Okay, let's stop here. Let's say, я гарна студентка. Завжди слухаю лекції. And do my homework. Завдання. Okay, double N is just pronounced as one N. So домашнє завдання is the homework. So let's say та виконую домашнє завдання. Okay, so the next thing is going to be at 1 o'clock. I have lunch in a coffee shop. Just remember, if you have one, you don't say the number. We just say час. It's an exception, kind of. So instead of в один, we don't say that. We say в час. So how would you say at 1 o'clock I have lunch in a coffee shop? Yeah, that's very good. So everyone, let's say that. Час я обідаю в кафе. Cafe. And then you have number 6. So at 5 o'clock I play tennis. Yeah, good job, thank you. So 6 граю. And let's say that for 2. Let's go. В 5 я граю в теніс. Я граю в теніс. Okay, the next sentence is going to be at 7 o'clock I'm at home. Good job. And everyone, let's say, 7 я вдома. And then you've got this picture here, which is to have dinner. So you get to say, I have dinner. That's so good. Very good. Sure. Let's do number 7 together. So let's say я вечеряю. And this part of the sentence goes like, and then at 8 I read a book. So let's say, а потім в 9 читаю книгу. And the last part is going to be I go to sleep. So that's how we say to go to sleep. Йду спати. So we've got to say I go to sleep at 10 or 11. 11 is all the message, right? So let's read the sentence. Я йду спати в 10 або 11. Okay, so what I want everyone to do now is to write your own story. It's going to be a bit more simple than the one you get ready for your final, but I just want you, all of you, to have this practice with me now, okay? So we just take these words, and I guess we can make 5 or 6 sentences. Could you please take a piece of paper, and you will take a picture of it later, and it's a good practice for your final, so you will see it's not actually that hard, okay? Please take a piece of paper, and you've got to write a few sentences. If you feel like you can write more because it's your second semester or you're from Russian department, feel free to add some extra text. If it's your first semester especially, we can just go one by one. So I will use these sentences and these words just as an example, and we can just add a few more words later on. So we start with the word get up. So once you have a piece of paper in front of you, we just have to write the sentence I get up at, and you write on your own time when you wake up, okay? And you can choose any day, let's say Monday or Tuesday, or maybe Sunday, so you get up later. Okay, so that's going to be the words for you. Встаю. So how would you say I get up at 8 o'clock, for example? Sure. So you just have to have a number, your own number, and that's going to be your first sentence, which is like I get up at 7. So please write it down. It's going to be a good practice for your final. You will take a picture, send it to me. I will check it. I promise to check everything before the next class, and then you can just use it for your final as well. If it's your second semester or you're from Russian departments, you can add extra. Like for example, you have breakfast and what your breakfast is. For the rest, we just can keep it simple. So let's say, like for example, I have breakfast at 9. How would you say that?